All right, what's up, Star Trek Fleet Command fans? This is Big Buzzin, aka Brian from Blog Engage Gaming YouTube channel. I just started playing Star Trek Fleet Command, and I must say, just like Rev Deuce, I love it. And if you don't, you suck. Now, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about setting up your officers on your ships, and this is at a very, very basic level. We have to keep in mind I've only been playing for 5 weeks, and my level is only 22. So, number one suggestion in this game, and this comes from the big whales and everybody downwards. Even Rev has said it on his channel. You got to follow Rev Deuce on YouTube, guys. This guy's a must follow, okay? The number one thing we need to focus on until level 25, 26 is our officers. Every single penny, everything we mine, everything we grind has to go into our officers. Now, with that said, once you start getting into factions, you'll be able to get some officers in there. Never worry about the raw gas and the raw ore and stuff, okay? It's not important right now. What's important is these Federation recruits. You got to get these guys, okay? You get those, you keep building up your officers. Every time you do events, you use your neutronium. Anything you do is going to be regarding your officers right now. And if you don't do that, then you're going to have a hard time leveling. You're going to be beat. And it's just not fun. The game's not fun. So right now in the event store, I'm focusing on these three guys. I have done nothing but these three. I've already got Toss McCoy up to 3rd level, and Toss Uhura is almost there too. But now we're going to talk about the basics of setting up your ship, especially if you're a new player and you don't have these Toss characters yet, and you haven't been, investing in your recruits and your officers. We're going to go right down to the basics, cadets. So this is some basic tips for new players. If you're a seasoned player, you probably don't need to watch this because you have way better officers, okay? But let's say you don't, and you're rocking your first real decent ship, and you're setting up your crew. What we want to look at our level right now for grinding is survivability. We want to get the most out of our ship for the least amount of repairs. And in order to do that, we have to reduce damage. We have to reduce damage from hostiles specifically. The first officer we're going to look at is Chen, and she's a basic cadet officer. I believe you get her right away, okay? I hope I'm right on that. And I might not be, but who cares? At some point, you'll get Chen. You're going to use her, put her on the seat all the time. Wherever the heck she is here. Give me a second to find her. All right, so she's definitely not a cadet. So I'm not sure when you'll get her, but you'll get her at some point. But let's take a look at the info from Chen, okay? And again, we're talking about increasing our ship's survivability so that we can finish more tasks and grind more hostiles without having to repair. Now, in the captain's seat, Chen increases the dodge, shield, deflection, and armor by the ship by 20% against hostiles. Okay, this is an amazing stat. If you're a low-level character grinding out and you're trying to, level up and do your research, and this character will increase your survivability rate against Fed, Klingon, Romulan, any of the dailies you're doing for them. If you're doing the swarms, Chen is a must-have if you're doing the swarms at a low level. And the second one, let's take a look at her second ability. If the opponent is a hostile, Chen decreases the damage done by energy weapons by 20%. Okay, 20%. Now, mind you, that is energy weapons, so you don't want to go fighting explorers because they'll smoke you with some photon torpedoes, which is kinetic energy. So again, you have to keep that in mind. But so all the time when I was, if I didn't have Purple Kirk and stuff, Chen was my captain. I didn't even care. I was like, how can you say no to those stats? All right. So now the next one I want to talk about is Tilan. And I like her. I don't use her for a cap ability. I mean, I guess it could be good if you're bored and you want to go grind hostiles and level up your ship, or if you're leveling up your ship to maybe scrap them or something, you can throw her in there and you increase that XP. But her officer ability is the real one that we want to look at. If the opponent is a hostile, Tilan decreases the damage done by its kinetic weapons by 15%. So in the previous case with Chen, she's energy weapons, and kinetic. And then now we're looking at Tilan, who is going to be reducing by 15%. So if you know you're going to be going against the ship that has kinetic weapons, throw her on the bridge. It's not, you have to throw her on the bridge. Okay? But I wouldn't in this case, obviously. I accidentally did that. But I did want to see if, yeah, so it was energy weapons. So now if you're going to do kinetic, you get her up there, okay? So the swarms are energy. They're energy phasers. So you definitely want to focus on survivability versus energy weapons if you're doing this. The next one I want to talk about that is really good, officer, and you get at an early age, is Chev. Chev's officer ability, if the opponent is a hostile, Chev increases the damage of the energy weapons of the ship by 15%. Okay, so this does not help with longevity. But if you have a boss and you just need to do one battle, this guy can help you increase that damage attack, assuming your ship is energy weapons. Okay, and then Galia, I believe. I'm not sure how to say her name, guys. Really sorry about it. She's got a really good officer ability as well. This is a great one. So every time you get hit by a critical hit, she'll reduce this by 40%. So, I mean, if you get hit by 1,000 damage, she'll reduce it to 600. Your shields mitigate so much, by the time it hits your hull, you barely have any damage to your ship. She's also a decent officer at low level, okay? Now, Cadet Uhura is also a must on the bridge, and in this case, I would definitely put her on there. She increases the shield health of the ship by 11%. Now, in my opinion, this is a must for a low level, and we're grinding out Swarm. You must have her on there. And for my third one, that I put on there, and maybe people would disagree, and let's remember, this all depends on what level your officers are at, and if you even have these officers in some cases. So Instructor Spock would go on my bridge in this case. Because if I'm grinding out and I'm looking for survivability, Instructor Spock increases the shield deflection, armor, and dodge of my ship by 20%. That's huge, 20%. So I'm going to put him on there, increase my survivability, and complete those missions faster than without him. Okay, so I'm going to throw him on there. And now we're up 90%. Look on the right-hand side here. We've got attack, defense, and health, 90%. Ideally, when you're a low level like me, you're not going to get that to 220%, 250%. You got Epic. I got Epic Kirk, and I think I can rock those stats pretty good on this ship specifically, the Voklis, with my good crew. But low level, typically you can't, unless you're like me and all you work for is officer recruits. Officer recruits. Officer recruits. 100%, guys. You got to do officer recruits. So now what we're going to do to finish off our ship, to increase our stats so that we get a really good punch and we get a really good bang for our buck, is we're going to go and sort by attack. Now we're going to put on Uhura for my attack, which brings my attack to 120%. And then I want to also go... in fact, in this case, I'm just going to put 2 attacks. If I had 3 spots on this ship, I may do attack, defense. But in this case, I don't. So I'm just going to stick with 2 attack officers. And in this case, it is going to be this young man, Sulu, I believe. Yeah, so awesome. You guys you're not going to have that, okay? So maybe I should just take both of those off. What you're going to probably do in your case, if you're low level like me, you're probably going to put Sulu for high attack. Who else would you have at this point? You might have Val. I'm not sure. But I do know you're going to have Cadet McCoy. Okay? And then we're looking at 120%, 90% bonus to attack. And we're looking at 11% increase in shields. We're looking at 20% decrease in damage from energy weapons. And we're going for the swarms, so that's perfect. And then we're looking at Instructor Spock increasing the shield deflection, armor, dodge by the ship by 20%. So this right here is really good setup if you're a low level with limited officer options to increase your survivability. So anyone from level, I really don't know, maybe level 5 to level 20. Let's say level 5 to 19 even. This is a great setup for you guys to get the most out of the swarms before you have to repair. Awesome. Now, this is done. I'm not going to leave my crew like this. Obviously, I have better officers. But I wanted to talk about mining. Just really quickly. A couple tips on mining. Okay, I can't even open it up. So we're probably not going to talk about mining today. All right, guys. So there's some tips anyways. on officers and setting up your officers for increased survivability when doing missions and grinding out parts. And this should help you, get a little bit more out of your ship and hopefully help you get to that next level. And don't forget, guys, number one thing: officers, officers, officers. Do not waste your money. Do not waste your resources. Do not waste on anything else except for getting officer shards. 100% number one top priority until level 23, maybe even level 28. I'm telling you, until you get to the big ships, you need officers. That is going to make your game completely better and more enjoyable. So officers, officers, and do not level up your operations until you have completed your research. I know it is hard not to level up that op, but promise you, if you upgrade your research and combat and research and galaxy and research and all that, right? You upgrade that stuff, you become strong, which makes you able to raid bases at some point. I mean, I'm getting there to the point where I'm able to raid some bases, but it's still tough go. But officers and research, and I'm gonna get there. All right, guys, this is Big Buzzin' from TGF, the Grand Federation Alliance. Big shout out to Slinky and the crew at TGF for all the help, advice, and everything since I've started playing. I mean, really, I've learned a lot from you guys, and I think we've had a lot of fun doing it, and we're going to keep rocking TGF strong. And if anyone's looking for an amazing alliance to join, make sure to message Slinky, reach out to him. 110%, super awesome guy, super awesome alliance. This is Big Buzzin', Brian from Blog Engage signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Cheers, guys.